Hello, and my name is Alex, and this is Travel TitBits 6. So, carrying on from yesterday, we have arrived at our first destination in New York. And before we crack on with that, I just wanted to mention something I forgot yesterday, which was back in those days, there was no electronic barcodes for luggage like today. It was all actual cards. So we had a card for Laker, a card for your luggage going through Gatwick. We had little ones for hand luggage. And then once we got on the other side, because we were going to go on a Greyhound coach, we had a label for that as well. So labels everywhere. So our first destination was the airport we landed at. So New York JFK. New York, New York. Isn't that what old Blue Eyes said? Well, it certainly is a busy city. It's the first thing that hits you. I mean, it's just absolutely heaving. Our hotel was near Times Square, and we weren't disappointed. It was what you would expect, bright lights. We were there at night. The effect was, very powerful. The following day, we went up the Twin Towers. So these were the Twin Towers that were built in the mid-late 70s. And at the time, well, no one really took a fantastic notice of them. They were two twin glass office towers, and one of them had an observation deck. Not at the top, but near the top. To be honest, we weren't particularly impressed with them. But given what would happen 20 years later, it's quite spooky looking at the photographs now. Yeah. My only memory of the building was coming out of the escalators and coming out the lifts and then going down the escalators into the main atrium of the building. And then as you went out of the building, there was a square, and you could see the two towers side by side. So yeah, it's quite spooky thinking about what happened later. That people worked there, they were officers. But the building we wanted to see the most was the Empire State Building. Very impressive to look at. But even in 1981, with all the big buildings that had gone up since, it looked rather small, but no less impressive when you reached the top. And it was outside and it was windy. We were caged in. Obviously, the Americans were clearly afraid that people would jump off the top or something. We had about 10 minutes up there. And yeah, the views didn't disappoint. What we did later, though, was even more dramatic. And that was to take a helicopter ride around the city. And yeah, we'd never been on a helicopter ride before, and yeah, absolutely undiluted excitement. We took off from one of the jetties, and within minutes we were hovering around the city block area. We went over Central Park, and then we did a circuit around the Statue of Liberty. So definitely gets the thumbs up. Whilst we were there in the evenings, because it has a lot of theatres like London does, we thought, well, it would be a shame not to go to some shows while we were there. So we went to see The Pirates of Penzance, starring an unknown American actor called Treat Williams. He might still be an unknown American actor, but at the time he was in a few Hollywood movies. One I remember with Michael Caine, for instance. And the other one we had to see was My Fair Lady, one of the longest running shows, and it actually starred the real Rex Harrison. He was a bit of a recluse and an eccentric who lived in a hotel in New York City itself. So, yeah, maybe he was a little bit of a prima donna, but when he was on stage, yeah, he absolutely nailed it. It was worth every penny to go and see him live. So after New York, we were going to go on a 13-day trip by Greyhound coach. It only cost, looking at the bill, it only cost £800 all in for two people, flights and accommodation. Oh, food was extra, by the way, but it was an extremely good deal. So more on the actual trip in the next video. See you later.